Hello and welcome to another episode of the Reseller Information Network. We are on episode 59, cruising right along. And guys, I do want to just go ahead and start the show and wish you a Merry Christmas. By the time you guys watch this, we'll be knocking on the door of Christmas 2023.
Wait, Christmas is almost here?
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming soon.
Maybe I should go and buy some Christmas.
You list the Q4 stuff yet, Cernoch?
Yeah. We got to list some Christmas trees just for that last minute. No. Guys, so this would be Friday and Christmas Eve is Sunday. So Merry Christmas all. And we do thank you guys for being here. I did want to start the show out and just kind of give you a little sneak peek as to what's to come. We are going to be doing a little Q&A today and talking about this past year and looking forward to what's coming in the future. So just a little sneak peek as to what's ahead for you guys. So we do thank y'all for being here. I did want to go ahead and make mention of some comments we received that we do thank each and every one of you guys as viewers. Sensible Treasure says, we find ourselves listening to your show several times each because we listen while working on listing and photographing and researching. We find that there are always a nugget we missed on the first or second time through. We are enjoying your RIN lives and appreciate the bulk sales you've offered. Keep up the good work. Merry Christmas to all of you and your families. Thanks, David and Linda. We appreciate you guys for being here as well, Sensible Treasures. Thank you so much for being a part of the RIN. 419 Sports Guy says, the thing that I've found in the past year of reselling is that people don't realize that if they're selling on eBay, they are running a business. People take things way too seriously and personal. Put on your small business owner. I'm sure he's referring to like a hat, right? Like think of yourself as a put on your small business owner hat or pants, maybe. Deal with the situation and move on. Like stated multiple times in this episode, sometimes it's not a pretty situation out there. And then we do have for Major Bozo, please release this on audio only on Google Podcasts. I will check into that and see how difficult that would be to move some stuff over there. We do have a few episodes on Spotify, I do know, but we'll check on that as well. Vintage Sports Flips Keith says, wow, Leroy is impressive that he can keep that rock on the shelf. The thing would bother me every time I see it. I don't get too many returns, but when I do, I try to film opening the packages, especially for expensive items. Never got the rock in the box like Leroy did, though. Great stuff, gentlemen. And Askatsu says, great Q&A. As if I could, I'd be more organized from the start. Struggles is real some days. And then we got a couple questions that we're going to get to when we get further down the line. But right now, we do want to go ahead and bring Tim out front and go ahead and get this channel membership. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you to all of our channel members. AZ Katsu, Simply Shenanigans Shanna, Diane Matthews, our very own Blood, Sweat, and Cell, Trash Cat Rescue, New England Betty Boop, Joe Deals, Old School Picker, Vintage Sport Flips, Charities, Terrific Finds, Kathleen the Fernway Flipper, Ohio Pickers Annette and Frank, Rudely Retro, Absolute Finds, Des Hardy, Heather Peddler, James Steinbreaker, Old Pats, High Plains Flipper, Walter Tilton, Black Sheep Society, Death Pile Picker, Mark Rowlands, Tracer Dre's Trading, and Aaron Vaughn.
Thank you.
Whew, man, my head always feels like it's gonna explode like for the next minute after that.
Guys, if you want to see Tim's head explode, keep adding channel members.
I was gonna say, man, this might get a little difficult if we get about 10 more of those.
Yeah.
He's not
Hey. So today we did want to do things a little different. As the year winds down, I know for me, I tend to reflect back on the year that we've gone through. And sometimes, honestly, if I'll be truthful, at times it seems like a whirlwind, right? Like at times you're like, wait a minute, it's December, it's near Christmas. What happened to last year?
Right.
What have we gone through? We've been together for, gosh, I guess now going on 4 years. Like we've been around each other for a while. And looking back, even to the more recent times, I thought about earlier, I was like, what can we say? What can we talk about? Maybe things that we've learned along the way this year. If you're like me, there's so much, right? There's so many things that are just like little nuggets, like was mentioned in the comment, that you think about and say, man, I wish I'd have known that. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of throw it out there and let these guys think for a second. But some things I've learned over the past year is, one, don't fall in love with your item. Just let it go.
Oh, yeah.
And there's somebody famous here among us who said, he has this saying about letting it go, price it low, let it go. Just let it go. Let it go. Because you know what? More is around the bend. You don't have to cherish every item. So, for me, that's actually a big takeaway that I kind of, not that I hadn't heard it before, but this year I got, especially as the year is drawn close to an end, I've embraced it. I said, let's let her eat. So if you've joined me on some one-stop shop auctions lately, you understand that concept that I'm free of it. So if you guys could talk about something maybe you've learned over the past year, small or big. Let's go with Leroy.
All right. I've learned that there's no dogs out today, guys. There's no dogs out. Okay. I'm running around. I don't see any dogs. So I'm just going to have to park here and I'm going to have to figure out what's going on. Because they called me out for a dog. There's no dog. The only dog is me. No, all being all kidding aside, I'll tell you one of the things that I learned. I'm not big on spending a lot of money on certain things that I'm not sure about, and also paying attention. I've said it a million times, but that bread and butter buy that I got with the auto parts, and I phoned a friend. I didn't phone the friend. If Eric had a tie on, I pretty much dragged him to the booth. I literally pretty much dragged him. I was like, he was talking, and I just cut him off. I was like, let's go. I was like, I need you over here now. So, taking that step, and it took me time to figure out how I was going to organize it, figure out how I was going to, how long, if I was going to do it in spurts. I did it all at once. And now that bread and butter, it's not a lot of money, but every week I might make $80 to $100 off of something that took me about 10 days to set up. But every week I'm making that money. I made my money back in the first week. So just like saying it's okay to focus on one thing and get it out of the way, to me is something that I've learned that I'm not used to. So that's pretty much what I wanted to say. It's just, something that I'm like, oh, I don't have time. I put the time in, and now it was so worth it.
Cernoch.
One thing I learned too is kind of more refined. Well, I always say this, and then I'm like, and I look back and go, well, are you really doing that? But I like to think that I'm doing it. More refined buying. Finding the things that you're like, okay, I will want to list this. I will want to, get this item cleaned. Finding those items that I know I'm going to put the work in and list them, rather than like going, oh wow, look at all these shoes I can buy for cheap, and then I buy them all, and then I go, oh man, I've got to clean all these. I don't want to clean them, and then so they just stay there. So just more refined buying, and just instead of like buying a lot, kind of narrowing it down and going, okay, I can get this because I know I can do this with it, or I can buy, because I have wholesalers that come shop with me. It's like, well, I can buy this and I can wholesale it to my guy or to a couple of my guys. So it's like that. So yeah, like in a roundabout way, what I'm kind of talking about is more refined buying aspects. So yeah, that's what it would be. More refined.
I'm almost gonna double down on the buying. I think for me, that's been one of the biggest things that I'm taking away from this year, because I owe a lot of that to you guys, to learning what I've learned from, these three guys, and not even just from these three guys, but from what we do and how we do it, like the listing and loafing, like the interaction with the chat, and being out on these picks with other resellers. Like, some people are always like, why would you want to go picking with all these other resellers? The amount of knowledge that you gain from people while you're out picking with them is just, you cannot measure it. Like, yeah, you can learn a lot when you're watching like the YouTube videos, and I think some people forget that. They just kind of get caught up in like the hype of YouTube, but there is a lot to learn from people if you're watching the right resellers. But like, when you're out with these people and you see them sourcing, the techniques that they use, why, not even necessarily just the bolos, but like why they're picking things up and why they're not buying things, I think is one of the biggest things that I learned this year. So like, my sourcing has changed so drastically. I look at things more like a business, like, and I'm like, I'm so bad with time. You guys know me, like, I'm always feel like I'm going to fall off of a cliff, either by myself or by just nature pushing me over. But like, learning to like, just be like, okay, I picked this item up. How much is it going to sell for? How much is it going to cost me? How easy is it going to be to ship? How easy is it going to be to store? And how quickly am I going to sell it? If I find something for $5 and it's only going to sell for $20, and there's 500 listed and only 20 sold, there is absolutely no reason why I should be buying that item. Like, sometimes we get like sidetracked and we see this mirage of $5 and I can make $20. But man, when you start breaking it down, like fees and time and all, it's not worth it. Don't pick it up. Now, if it's $5 and it sells for $20 and it has an 80%, 90% sell-through rate, sure. It's small and it's easy to store, easy to ship, sure. But like, less projects, more quick turns, like, that's what I'm all about. Like, I have become and I've always prided myself on my ability to source just because of my versatility. But man, I have gotten so much more picky that it is wonderful. And some people think that it's not, but man, it is wonderful. I am like buying like 20 items a week maybe, and there's 10 of those 20 items are selling before I buy my next 20 items. That's how I want to live my life as a reseller. Eric's muted. I muted you, Eric.
We all do hang out together so much, right? So it's interesting that to know that we do learn so much from each other, and honestly, it's kind of crazy to watch how our paths start to come together a little bit, and some of these same thought processes, because we do not, for me, it's not limited as far as certain items, in the sense of like, okay, from now on I'm only going to sell hats, or I'm only going to sell shoes, or I'm only going to sell. It's more about like, what are the things that actually sell, because like what Tim was talking about, some of that stuff's a race to the bottom. Like, if you're buying a flooded category, you're either gonna, I mean, we talk about it all the time, title, picture, price. Like, you got to sell on one of those three, and a combination of all of them makes it better. But like, if it's a $20 item and there's 800 listed, that means you're gonna have to sell it for 15 to get rid of it. Like, so now you're already taking money out of your pocket. But for me, I do think about like one of the things we've learned. All right, so I know this is like shameless plug time to a degree, but what are some tools that you've learned about over this past year that do help you that you maybe weren't using last year. So I know, like, we basically had come out of the gate with, I'm not going to steal it. I'll let one of you guys do it. We'll circle back through Tim.
I'm not, you know what? I'm not going to steal it either because I think the person who brought it to the table, because I was using it, but not the way that it was meant to be used and not through the program that we were using it. So I'm going to save it for the person that deserves the credit because they 1000% deserve the credit for this. But I mean, tool wise, it's interesting because I haven't really. I feel like I'm 2024. I'm going to be all really big on Reseller Genie. I think that that's something I'm going to really try and utilize. I'm taking things more serious on my business side of things. But tool wise, I haven't really used any new tools outside of the one that's the biggest one. But I will say that like experiencing the beginning of one-stop shop on district, I think is a big one for me. I'm really excited about that because I like to be, you guys, there's one thing you all know, is, you know, we like to be in early. I like to be in early. Okay. So Whatnot for me last year was a huge, I paid for most of my wedding through Whatnot. Like that's just a fact of life. So like for me, like new opportunities, you know, like a one-stop shop, I'm excited for that. Outside of that, the tool that Cernoch's going to talk about has changed a lot of our lives. And I'm just going to say the tool of sourcing, man. I don't know how many times I can express this, man, but just learning how to utilize the tools that I've been using on a better scale. How about that? Utilizing my eBay what's sold. Utilizing my worth point. You know what I'm saying? Utilizing worth point to its fullest potential. I mean, the things that I learned about how to actually use worth point has been crazy. So just getting better at what I'm already using, I think is important. Like to never be content, never be complacent. Like just don't get too comfortable. Like you figure out how do I improve these things. I relaunched my YouTube, so I've gotten better at doing YouTube. You know, like shout out to Paul the Philly Flipper and Kevin Commonwealth Picker. They've really helped me a lot, like getting my YouTube channel back started. So those are some things. I think that's one other tool is the community. The reselling community is a tool. Learn how to use it. Put yourself around good people, like-minded people, and that want to help the community and others grow as resellers because it's important to put yourself around like-minded people.
Leroy.
Tim stole one of my sayings, but no, it's okay. You know, the thing is the people around you is very important, and don't be afraid. Like I'm so afraid to bother somebody, or like, you know, oh, I don't want to bother them. I don't want to ask them this. I don't want to ask them that, even though they might know an easier way to help me do it. I'm so afraid of using the tools around me. Like, no pun intended, but the tools that I have around me, people, places, reselling platforms, I don't use them. I needed one of those. I needed one of those tools today, and I used it, and it helped because I needed it. So you got to not be afraid to try to use those tools. All these other channels and everybody tells you, oh, this is hot, this is hot, this is not hot, this is hot. Spend a little time and just try to pay attention to what, instead of hearing what's around you, listen to what is around you to make those tools work, and do your own research. Do your own research. You don't have to listen to what Eric and I say or Tim and Cernoch. Put a little bit of your own effort into it. Like I can't help you walk your dog. I don't live near you. So
you can catch him though.
I catch him today. I go catch him too. I won't catch him. So that's what my thoughts are with that.
All right, Cernoch.
I had to think about tools I use every single day. All right. We already know that Photoroom has been huge for us. With the advancements of the going from the white background to AI generated backgrounds, the way it makes your photos look crisp, clean, it gives that lifestyle edge to your photos. I mean, everything. I use it on everything now. Everything. I feel like there's only a few photos I don't use it on. You know, so that's been huge. Another thing that's been really, really nice that's come out this year that I use, and it's one of those things that it's running in you know what? There's two more things. One is Flip, okay? Flip's Poshmark share running in the background. It's sending out offers. It's doing all this. Hey, hit our links down below, okay? Hit our links down below for Flip. It's the Poshmark share is free. It shares it. You know, you can share it your closet all day. I think you can get up to like 6,000 listings shared on a daily rate, okay? And then if someone likes your item, they'll automatically send them an offer on that item. I've sold so many things by sending, you know, they liked an item and I sent them a 15% off offer. That's huge. That's huge. So that and the last one, Vendoo has, you know, I've been using Vendoo for years, but they did their auto detect sales where it will auto detect sales from your platforms and automatically delist them from your other platforms, which has been a game changer. I will tell you that. Now, is it perfect? No. There's some things that you're gonna, you know, have to do every once in a while, but it's been. I'll take a slightly non-perfect working thing over nothing any day, because I'll tell you what, something that sells on Poshmark, I don't have to worry about running the computer and going, okay, let me get on Vendoo and take it down. I know, oh, okay, yeah, Vendoo's got my back. They'll take that down. I won't resell it on another platform. So those are the big three. Photoroom, Flip, and Vendoo have been the biggest tools I've been working with this year.
It's funny. I was waiting to see if anybody would mention Flip, but that's a good call on that.
Yeah.
You know, we do use all kinds of tools, and honestly, guys, like one of the things Tim said and touched on is he likes to be first in. I like to be first in too. Like I think we all kind of have that little gear in us. Like, dude, it's like build a better mousetrap. Like we're always looking. Like, is there something better out there? Is there something? We're not afraid to try things, like to try things out. So now we're seeing that, you know, where sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not very good. Like there's some things that you try and it's like, you know, that ain't going to really work for what I'm doing. But, you know, I think by the fact that we're willing to guinea pig some stuff for folks and for our own business, you know, sometimes we've talked oftentimes about risk reward. And it is one of those things, like sometimes you take a risk and it's huge rewards, like with Flip and Photoroom and cross-listing apps and all the many things we do. And, you know, Tim did mention my Reseller Genie. Guys, if you need some help with your bookkeeping, accounting, you know, keeping your business straight, that's there too. We do have links for all those things. We'll put them down below and make sure they're in some type of order to where you guys can go in and check them out for yourself. And, you know, we've tried and trued these things, or we wouldn't be endorsing them. So yep. That's one of the things that we like to keep on track with as well. So, you know, we're talking about good things and positive things. Like, let me ask you this: is there something you missed out on this year that if you could rewind the tape and go back and say, you know what, I would have done this if I could have? I'll go ahead and throw this one out there because I've talked to the guys about it. I went to a live auction sale and I talked to Tim. Like I just sent him some pictures. He's like, look at this, look at this, look at this. And we both were discussing this McCoy pieces. They were McCoy pottery. There's 3 pieces there. I didn't have a clue. Tim was like, you know, he said, I don't deal as much with pottery, but he's like, I don't know, McCoy's got one of those things. Well, I went into the auction house, can't get a sell signal, but I looked, and the first piece the guy had an opening bid of $100. Somebody had bid $100 that ain't even there. And he said the guy's name, and I should have known then when I heard the guy's name because he's a buyer. And So guy paid $180 for 3 pieces. Those 3 pieces probably sell for like $15 to $2,000. Like, and I just sat there and let them go by the wayside, because like by the time I got signaled, they were all sold, and I was like, they were breakable, which is for me like one of those things. They got to be real good for me to get them in there breakable. But B, I'm like, man, I did not take the time to look them up because they were breakable. So for me, that's just the latest wound in my reselling journey. I was like, I wish I could have got it. Wish I could have got it. All right, who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
All right.
I mean, listen, I dropped the boat on consistency. I think dropped the boat. I dropped the ball. I don't know. I just made one up right now. I dropped the boat on consistency. I really should have stuck with Whatnot on a consistent basis early on before changes were made. I think I could have built a stronger following. I probably could have made a lot more money. I probably could have got rid of a whole lot of stuff that I have in this room that now I'm going to have to get rid of, probably cheaper than what I wanted to. But yeah, I think that consistency is one of my worst things. And obviously the same thing as every other year. I wish I would have kept better financial records and better track of everything like that. I suck really bad at that. And I think I just tell people that openly now, so that it's almost like I'm holding myself accountable to be better moving forward, and just to hopefully help people to realize like it really does suck not being organized. So I feel like every episode we're gonna find a way to let people know that. So yeah, that's some of the things that I missed out on. I probably missed out on some sports card related stuff that I kind of regret not taking advantage of. But besides that, like, I think that everything that I missed out on or I regret, I try to spin in a positive manner and use that as information and resources for moving forward, not to make the same mistake twice, even though keeping good financial records and being organized is a mistake that I've made 5 times every year for the last 5 years. I'm going to do better next year. So that's me.
See, this is a tough one because like missed out like sourcing.
Oh God, I didn't even think about that. I didn't want to include that because there's a lot of stuff. All right, no wait. Before Cernoch goes, I have to say this on the record because I know this is now that you said that, and I'm realizing what Eric and Leroy want me to say. I missed out on the 127 part buy because I was in an emotional spiral due to that being bipolar and manic depressive, and I let my emotions get the best out of me, and I was salty, and I didn't take advantage of that buy because I was being emotional, and it was irresponsible on my part. I will never make that mistake again. But I will use the excuse that I am a mentally damaged individual, and sometimes stuff like that happens. So there, it's on the record I think I've been on the record saying this before, but okay, we're on the record again now. Yeah. I feel like that's what Eric and Leroy wanted me to say from the beginning.
No, I mean, I think what you had to say is good. We weren't gonna put that on you again.
Leroy was.
No.
No, Cernoch still has to go. I took Cernoch's turn.
Yeah.
All right, so missing out like sourcing. See, I was racking my brain. I'm like, what did I miss this year?
He never misses.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. I miss stuff, but sometimes it's overpriced.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
mm-hmm.
and I like to stick to that. I'm a cheap buyer. Like, I want to get it cheap. And at my honey hole, I have a saying about my honey hole. I'll just wait till it shows up there. Okay, That's my thinking. I'm just gonna wait till it shows up in my honey hole and then I'll get it. Now, if it's like a crazy piece, I really don't think, like, I really can't rack my brain on, like, going to a yard sale and going, oh, I should have got those, or oh, I really can't remember, because again, if it's something that's like, oh well, like I'll find it at my honey hole, in a couple weeks, or say something like that. I don't know. The one thing I do miss a little bit, and I didn't do it this much, is like I really constrained myself to like only sourcing in my area, and I didn't really go out like a lot because I didn't have to. Which, like, I kind of miss that. It's not a bad thing, but I kind of miss that, going up to going into Pennsylvania and some other places down more southern Virginia or more west into West Virginia. I just didn't do that this year because I really didn't need to. So it's kind of like, well, I missed out on that. But the FOMO didn't hit me as like, oh man, I wish I should have gone and done that. Hey, there'll always be next year, or there'll always be, time to do that. Going back to the whatnot thing though, what Tim was saying. Now, see, I think this is like more than a year ago. I wish I would have, like, before they changed all their shipping stuff. I think we said this in a past video, or like maybe in the back room or something like that. I wish I would have, like, if I would have known, I would have cranked as many whatnot shows as I could.
Yep.
Before that happened, it was only a week, before we knew, and it was like, well, crap, So that's the one thing I, looking back at it, go, I wish I would have done more on that. But I mean, hey, what can you do? What can you do?
All right, Leroy.
All right, this is supposed to be about reselling, but what comes first for me with reselling is eating. I wish I could have got another one of those breakfast burritos. Because I only got one, and I'm the one who found them and told everybody about it. I should have shut my mouth, and I should have sat there and just ate my own, all of my own. But I didn't do that. To be honest with you guys, I really don't know what, like, that I deliberately missed. I'm happy with my saucing. I could do better. Some things, like, I wish we had more room, and we keep always talk about these parts, but like I said, they make me and Eric over $100 a week almost in these parts. I wish we had more room, or we took time to organize to get a little bit more, but that was sort of out of our control. When I was very happy I went and got my bins. It was one of the smartest things I did. I wish I had more room to fit more, but what I intended to go there to get, I got. So, I said, for me, I want to focus on, and we'll talk about this probably in the next couple of episodes, what can I do better next year, 2024, to make my business better, than what I've learned that I did wrong in 2023. But I'm okay. I'm not, like, there's nothing that really kicks me in the butt and I get upset about, because sort of like Cernoch said, if it's, once it goes over, I don't, and these guys said it earlier, falling in love with stuff. Don't fall in love when you're buying it either. You might not know what it is, and then you find out it's worth $500. Now you want to get $500 for it, but you only paid $3 for it. But don't also fall in love when you're buying it, because that will cost you. Like, I don't fall in love, like, very seldom. I know what my money price is, and that's it. So I hope to find some more. I found a couple of my my catch and releases this year, a couple of things that I've never seen before. That's very exciting to me. But besides all that, I mean, yeah, I'm pretty much happy with what I did. I really am. I need to make more money, but I'm happy.
Yeah, I think when we do talk about these kind of things, about is there things you missed out on, I mean, like I said before, sourcing, I always think about like there are things like that. In hindsight, like me and Leroy didn't make it very far, maybe a few hours down the road, and we're both kind of kicking ourselves to a degree because I told Leroy, I was like, dude, I've got a trailer hitch. Like we could have loaded up, but you know, hindsight's always 2020. It's one of those things you
And
do
we could
have
have made a phone call financially. Financially, we could have made a couple of phone calls and we would have been all right.
yeah, and it's one of those things too. Like, I mean, for me, obviously, I was involved in the great comic, you know, episode of Reseller Rally to where it's like, man, I could have, you know, there's a group of us that could have made some decisions to possibly come into a mega score. But, you know, end of the day, you know, like I said, as we started this thing, there's always more when it comes to sourcing. Like there's always going to be another opportunity. There's always going to be, I used to think when I first started, I had, if I missed it, it was the end of the world. Like, you know, I'm not going to ever find anything like this again. There may be items that you only find once in your lifetime, but as far as reselling, there's always something out there that you can find to sell. So I do encourage you guys in that. Now, now for me, looking back, I was trying to think earlier about what are some things that if you could look at, you know, now that we're further down the road, you're like, I'm glad I made this decision. Like, I'm glad I did this. Going into this year, like I'm glad that this is something that I decided, okay, I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna, you know, whatever that looks like for you. For me, and honestly, it's a more recent occurrence is the idea of, man, let's move it, let's you know, we were talking about it today in our show about like this weekend, like I ran 50% off. And what I'm doing is doing it in categories so I don't get overwhelmed with things. But like I did it in categories that I've had stuff sitting for a long time. And like I did 12 days of auction, like on one stop. And honestly, a lot of that stuff is just like, it's not that it's not good stuff. It's just been hanging around me too long. So like, I'm like, okay, let's move it. Let's let it go. And so I'm glad I did it. I'll be honest. I'm glad, you know, that I decided to make that move. So I'm gonna switch it back around to Cernoch. What's you know, maybe a decision or a couple of decisions you're like, man, in hindsight, I'm glad I did it. At the time, maybe it was, you know, something you wrestled with.
I think I made a good decision. It's just one, but I think I made a good decision, kind of opening myself up to more wholesalers to come by, and just to like unload some stuff. Again, I give great deals out to my wholesalers. So, and kind of piggyback on Eric's, where it's like, yeah, I know all these crew neck sweaters. We you know, we hit a lick at the 100-mile yard sale. I knew to pick up all these crew necks or grab all these crew neck sweaters because I already had a buyer. Okay. And that's the decision I kind of made, like letting, you know, more people buy stuff for me for cheaper for them to keep coming back. Because if you have someone come by and said, hey, you know, like I'd love to shop the basement. Okay, great. And you kill them on every single price and they leave with one or two items, guess what? They ain't never coming back. They're like, peace out, bro. Cool. Thanks, man. Dap up later. You know, versus, oh man, I got it. I got a killer steal. I mean, not stealing, but like literally like, hey, he took care of me. We're both making money. I'm going to go back there. Okay. And that's kind of like the development, you know, I've developed some of the relationships where they call me up and it's like, hey, you know, mind if I come by? No, not at all. Because I know, you know, I've developed the relationship. And that's one thing, like the good thing I think about this year, I've done more of, and I'd like to do more of that next year too. Bringing in maybe a few more people that are looking for different stuff too. I got to reach out to one guy because he was buying leather jackets like it was no, you know, like no tomorrow. So it's like, so maybe finding a few more people, you know. Now you'll always get those people like, oh, I just want NASCAR tees or a band tees. Like, you know, you get rid of those guys, and then you got to find out the real guys that are, you know, the real resellers that are like, okay, yeah, I'll take all the crew neck sweaters you got for $5 and $7 a piece, because I'm getting them for 50 cents a piece, $5 and $7 a piece, I'll do that all day. Yes, I can make $20, $25 a piece on those. I'm a one-man show, and I've got all this volume. So why not just like, hey, bro, you're making money, I'm making money, we're all happy. We'll do it again sometime. So that's the moving forward. I think I've made a really good decision doing that.
Leroy?
I'm not gonna be the broken record. I'm gonna totally block it all out. The two things I want to say, I've said 97 times. One of them does piggyback off of that. I'm gonna try to skip around this the best I can. One of the buys that I got, there was a lot of smalls, and the time I put in my head to organize it and to file it right and get the right storing mechanism to do it was a game changer. I can go grab a number. The number it's in the bag. I did a bag system for these particular items. I think that was one of the smartest things I did. It took me a little time. I have to have a plan mentally. That's one of the reasons why one shop stop. I once I get it and I get into it, I'm fine. I just have to mentally have that plan to be able to do that. Besides that, I mean, like Cernoch said, opening yourself up just because you don't want to buy 700 crew neck sweatshirts, but you actually know now you have a buyer, you can buy those 700 crew neck sweatshirts instead of just getting rid of them. It's like, today I sold some hats and some t-shirts. I don't do hats and t-shirts, but you know what? I'm glad that I did get them because I put a couple dollars in my pocket quick and I knew what marketplace I could get rid of them. So, that kind of stuff, keeping your eyes open and again, it depends on how you can get rid of it. But if you can get rid of it fast, if you can put it in, I know guys that will buy a whole bunch of stuff, they'll put it in their vehicle. The next place it goes is to another buyer. It never makes it to a warehouse. It never makes it to their house, a garage, nothing. They literally have a Rolodex and a mental Rolodex, and they call these guys and say, hey, listen, I just came across 700 precious moments. I mean, nobody wants those, but just saying. And they say, okay, what do you got? Send me pictures, blah, blah. And they let it go. Open your mouth. Open your mouth. I opened my mouth the other day, had a maintenance guy at the house, never seen this guy. He comes in and he's like, you seem to know what you're talking about. And I said, yeah, I did this for years. And he said, yeah, he goes, this complex hired me. He goes, we go around, we fix stuff, and we do cleanouts. I said, you do what, huh? You do what? You do what? He said, yeah, we do cleanouts. I said, really? I said, well, I'm willing to buy some stuff. I'm not cleaning it out for you. I will come and pick what I want. I will give you money depending on what I think it's worth. I said, but make sure you keep in contact with me when you. He goes, oh yeah. He goes, we do cleanouts and there'll be a bunch of clothes and sneakers and we just throw them out. Devil is a lie. So I'm like ringing my head now. I'm thinking, okay, and that's sort of what made me think of today. What I did today, because if I can get clothes and sort of do like Cernoch, not copying them, but if I can get them for pennies on a dollar and I can get rid of this stuff as soon as I get it, it's okay. It's okay. Don't do the research on it. Don't do the research. Know what you have into it. Bless somebody else and keep it moving. So,
that's it.
Absolutely. Kind of piggyback off Leroy. Letting people know what you do. And I think we've said this 1,000 times on here, but letting people know what we do. Leroy, I was dropping some stuff off at this one place. Met the people there. Okay, just chit-chatted real quick, and the guy goes, oh, you do clothing and hats and shoes and all that stuff? You resell that stuff? I'm like, yeah. He goes, I do clean outs. He goes, every once in a while we buy these properties and I do this clean out and we have all these clothes, shoes, hats, all this stuff, and I never know what to do with it. And I'm like, bro, here's my card. Call me. I said, call me and I will get rid of it for you. I will haul it away for you and I will go donate it. And, so keep business cards on you and keep talking to people because you never know, that person may call you out of the blue one day and you might hit a treasure trove of stuff, or you might go and there's nothing.
Yep.
But you do a good deed for the next time that could be something big. So why not do that, and just have that patience to be like, you never know, walking into a house, you never know what's going to be in that trash bag. Because you might open up that trash bag and it's all 80s rock t-shirts or vintage jackets or, boots that are crazy, World War II boots or something like that. You never know what you're coming across. So yeah, hand those cards out and talk to those people.
I'll tell you, so like to jump back on you that was jumping on me, but I'll tell you, when the guy came to the house, I was talking to him and I had some tools. This is a maintenance guy coming to my house. I had tools in my living room, like spread out on a table. I said, don't touch my stuff. Okay. I gave him some screwdrivers and a chart thing that I paid for. I gave it to him and said, hey, you know what? Here, have a good Christmas. The guy came in my house. He did the work on my house. He wrote a note and left it near my door and said, I don't know what I did. I misplaced your card. Could you please text me? So this is how I know this guy is serious. And today, I don't know how. I just went home to try to do the show and come back. My water bottles were in my house. Nobody can put he must have went back to see if the job was all set, the paint dried or whatever he did yesterday, and the water bottles were outside and they were put like not where I normally put them, and they must have not wanted them to get cold because it's it's cold here, and the water bottles in my house, I know it was him. So like Cernoch said, and Eric does it too, and I know Tim does it, but keep your contacts in your pocket. Keep them in your pocket, meaning like call them up. Hey, how you doing? This is Leroy. I hope you and your family have a good holiday. Hey, if you get any cleanouts, first of the year is coming up, I'm going to text this guy on like the 5th because I know people are getting evicted. I want some stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's it. Tim, what's something you feel like you did good at this year?
I'm sorry. Say that one more time. Can you rephrase? Use the question in a sentence, please.
Use the question in a sentence. What is something that you feel like that is a change that was for the good this year for you, or something that you did that you're like, what, that was worked out?
Sourcing. I source so much better.
Yeah.
Not even that. I mean, I think more dedication, and I feel like, the growth of what we're doing here has made me a much better person, a much better reseller. I can't express it enough. Like, I think some people think that when we're doing this show, right, that like we're trying to just help people who are new resellers, right? But it's so much deeper than that. Like, I cannot express how much I have learned from these three guys. Like, I have hardware here. I have tools here. Like me and Eric talk so much, and like we're always bouncing ideas off of each other. Like the brainstorming sessions that Eric and I have had, like all three of these guys I've been able to talk to and confide in during my I had some tough times this year, and I was really down and out, and I've been able to talk to these three guys at different times, and they've talked me through this downward spirals that I've been through. And then like on the sourcing levels, like the information that Cernoch is given, not just us, each and every one of you guys, it is crazy to me that you guys aren't if you guys aren't listening to the things that Cernoch has said, like go back and look at some of the stuff that Leroy and Eric and Cernoch and myself have said on the Listening to Loafings, on these shows. Like go back and watch them and just take a few notes. I, in the last month, have made over $1,000 on 20 items tops, right? Like I'm just kind of throwing that number out there off of just boots and jackets. I swear to God, I am not even like trying to like make this into something that it's not. I swear to God, I will show you the sold comps, and it's just been like it's not like I've gone out there and just gone and looked for nothing but boots and jackets. I've added it into everything else that I do when I go out sourcing, and it's made a huge difference. Like, I don't just walk past the room in the basement that has all the tools and stuff. I call Leroy. I go live on Listing and Loafing, and we all go dig through this room together virtually. You know what I'm saying? Like, I cannot stress it enough that, like, this is not just us out here talking, because I know you guys know I love to talk, but it's not just us out here talking. Like, this is real life information that you all should be using, and that I am using myself, that I am learning myself. I am a living proof that this stuff is true. It works. So yeah, I'm excited about that sort of stuff. And you guys, I love you guys.
Hey guys, we are gonna wrap. I did have a couple questions that I did need to get done because people did put them in the chat and took the time to do so. So I want to make sure we touch on them real quick. First comes from Italian Man 36. He says, "Great show. How do you keep track of the items you buy and the cost of the item?" If somebody wants to tackle that, I think we all kind of do similar. So
I'll be quick and brief on this.
Yeah.
I don't, and I suck, and it's really bad. I think this is going to be something I'm going to try and do moving forward. I just think it's, like I said, I really want to approach this like a business, because that's.
Are you gonna get Kevin's clipboard, or
yeah, dude? I'm going to go back to Kevin in his basement, man, when he used to have that stuff written on a piece of paper. Yeah, I'm going to be really serious about Reseller Genie. I'm going to be really serious about things. I think it's important because, like, there's the three things, like buying, selling, right? Like those sort of numbers. And then I think the other thing I'm going to really keep track of too is time. The time that it takes from purchase to listing, and the time that it takes from listing to selling. I'm really going to focus on that sort of data. Like sell-through rate is something you can look on your phone and stuff like that, but the data, your own personal data, like it just things that you're doing to make things sell quicker and faster and stuff like that. That's sort of data that I'm going to kind of be keeping moving forward.
Hey, Tim's looking for an intern, guys. If any of you guys are interested, it is an unpaid position, but anything you can get with 7-Eleven points, he'd be welcome to do that. But he'll be looking for an intern in the coming
or
year.
A carpenter, or a carpenter.
Yeah, carpenter, intern. Totally unpaid. You can pick his brain though, all you want.
But you might have to pay him.
Yeah. I just touch on the cost thing for myself. I do total cost. So like if I go out for a day and I spend $100, like I just look at those items and know mentally everything I bought today, if I divide it out, it works out to whatever average cost per goods. Like that's how I work it. There are people that keep spreadsheets. Good on them. Like, I mean, if Tim's going to start doing the clipboard method and all that, good on them too. I know for me, I do my accounting cash in and cash out. So if you kind of keep that column and know where you're at, inventory and all that good stuff. I don't do an inventory system and know every item and what it is. I have a generality that I can tell you. And these guys that pick with me, they know it's cheap, whatever it is. So we didn't pay a whole lot. The second question is for Leroy specifically, and it does say, Leroy, do you ever sell tools in bulk lots to get rid of the lesser brand tools? If so, how big are your lots and average costs sold for? Thanks. And that's from Central Iowa Picker.
My lots come in volume of one item per lot. It all gets pushed at the flea market, and the minimum price I get is about 50 cents on something I paid a penny for.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much, and that's not trying to be funny. That's what I've been focusing more on, the flea market. I used to try to go and try to go and make $300, $500, $600 in a day, 3, 4, 5. in a day. And now I'm happy with just making 150, but I'm consistent knowing that every time I go, I'm going to make 150 or $200. Um, and working on my setup and making it easier for me. And it's all, cookie cutter pretty much. That's how I like to do my bulk stuff. If anybody is looking for bulk tools, please message me on Instagram. I'll be more than happy to guide you in the right direction. I've already guided you, but sometimes you need that one-on-one guidance. And I can show you how I get mine because I get all mine in bulk. So I hope that answered your question. If I didn't answer, we're sort of stretched on time, but if I didn't answer it, as far out as you wanted to, please message me on Instagram, and anybody can, because I tell everybody in the year 2024, you all have to sell at least 24 tools in a month.
Ooh. Gauntlet thrown down.
Mm.
I got you. We hear you. Hey, we did want to do a little round robin real quick just to say thank you guys and wish you a Merry Christmas. I actually have been busy at work here on a little Christmas card greeting from my guys here. This is a we kind of use some elements here. We had to throw a little photo room in the mix here at the country cabin. But Merry Christmas from all of us here at RAN, and we'll let you guys go down top to bottom. So Leroy.
Yeah, and in our Christmas fantasy, we don't need quotes, guys.
Nah, man.
We don't got t-shirts on. We look like we've had a tough day of picking, but no. From the Blood household, I wish all of you guys a safe, happy, and joyful holiday season. Whatever your belief is about the holiday season, don't forget that. Don't forget what it stands for to you and your family. For me, it is religion, but for some people, it might be family. Family might be your and don't forget that. So make sure you push that into the holiday season with taking care of your kids or whatever it is. So we will see you guys after Christmas. I think maybe after Christmas. I don't know. I get confused now. Yeah, we'll see you guys after Christmas. And you guys, again, be safe. And to my guys on the panel, the line's always open, and we will stay in touch.
Definitely. Hey, you know what? I'm going to be spending Christmas kind of like with my family, with my boys, getting some stuff. It's like one of those things, like we put all this work in Q4, we've done it. And it's like, listen, Christmas, during the Christmas time, especially, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, day after Christmas, take that time and give yourself just some relaxation. Give yourself some pat on the backs. Kind of do what we did here today. What did I do good? What did I do bad? What could I have done better? What's the future look like? Maybe think about those things. Come up with a plan. Don't stress yourself out. Because here's the thing. As resellers, we're just moving forward. And guess what? Q1 is right there. Q1 is just sitting there going, welcome. Come on. We got sales. The sales don't stop. Okay? That's what I think a lot of people have been talking about. A lot of people have been like, oh, well, it's Q4. I didn't do as well. Okay, cool. Q1's right here. Q2's here. Summer slowdown, whatever you want to call it. Go into it and keep going. Keep cranking out those listings. Keep doing your business like a business because the sales are there. People are spending money. People are always buying stuff. Maybe you have to adapt. Maybe you have to do that. But again, around Christmas, take time, reflect on yourself, your business, spend time with your family, and then just jump back in. Just get going and keep going. So, yeah, Merry Christmas, everyone.
I got to jump in real quick, guys. I got to tell you guys something really, really quick. You guys have to realize something, that this holiday, Christmas time, is the most that people have a vacation time. So if you don't have a lot of things to do, please list, because I promise you, if you listed from now until like the 10th of January, you'll probably have one of the best 20 days of selling that you've ever had this year. Like for real, I've done it. I didn't do it last year. I did it the year before. If nobody's around and you're not, list, because you will sell stuff. People are not at work from now until January. Some people are off the whole time. List your stuff.
All right, Tim.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys as always for all the love and the support. Happy holidays, not just from myself, but my family and my brothers here, Cernoch, Leroy, and Eric, the Obxpicker. We want to thank you guys for every single day that you show up, whether it's watching these pre-recorded videos, joining us on Tuesdays, coming over to the one-stop shop. Every little bit counts. We love you guys. We wouldn't be doing this if we didn't think that, you guys were part of the family. So you are part of the family, whether you watch one time, every time, or just listen every once in a while. We appreciate it. Most importantly, don't forget to tell a friend to tell a friend. Happy holidays from RIN.